Right, just eating a Yorkie. I love Yorkies. Don't know, I've had a Yorkie for ages. And yeah, I know a Yorkie. Anyway, I've got this, look. At least it even says something on it, look, it says Yorkie on it. I've got this Flymo. This is a hover mower. I've never had a hover mower before, but it doesn't very much look like it's going to hover just at the minute. So, I would say I've never had one of these. Let's drag this outside and have a look round this mess. And I'll show you what we've got. I have just had this dropped off for me. It's got a spring there, and I know nothing about it at all, but it's got a nice little Briggs engine on. Let's try and get it going. Right, I've eaten a whole Yorkie. That was really nice. I feel terrible now though. Anyway, I don't know anything about this, so let's have a look. I'm a bit concerned about this because I don't know what they're doing there. Some sort of spring round here, and I'm guessing, but I think it probably is the governor springs off here, so I'm guessing that someone's had a major play about with this and they've already taken the governor springs off, which is always annoying, but we'll see. I don't know, got springs locked. Alright, well they're alright, they look pretty good, don't they? Got springs, no fuel in here, might even work. Imagine if it works. I'm going to check the oil. The other thing I've just seen now as I dragged it out was this. I don't know what's going on here. This is obviously not going to work, so it looks like someone's, I'm guessing someone's bypassed the kill switch, because some sort of metal hook on here. Yeah, this is like a metal hook, so they've obviously tried to pull the brake across, and they've also tried to fit, by the looks of it, something here to touch against the end of the plug to stop it running. It's all just something bent on here, and I guess what they've been doing is just getting something and touching it against it just to kill the spark. So let's see if there's some oil in it, let's put some fuel in it, and let's check with the blade on it actually, and let's see if it runs. So I know I've got no fuel in it, but it's got a spark plug in it. I don't know if I've got any oil, and I need to check with the blade on the bottom of it as well. Actually, whatever's in this looks really clean. So let's put that in there, see if there's some oil in it. Yeah, got some oil in there. Yeah, about 3/4 of the way up. That looks fairly clean, to be honest. So take a look underneath this, check there's a blade on here, and then let's fire it up and see if it hovers. Right, let's have a quick look under here. We've got a blade, look. And this part here, I don't know what this is called. I think this is called an impeller, and I think you can change these depending on what height you want these to cut. Obviously I don't want to cut my grass with it. I've just cut my grass, to be honest with you. I've just patched it all up a bit with some extra turf, but I don't know what height it's going to cut. And obviously this blade looks really, really blunt as well, but I know it's got a blade on as well, and obviously it doesn't look too bent. So yeah, let's put some fuel in it, let's have a bit of fun. Literally anything could happen here, so let's put some petrol in it and let's try and start this. Right, this will be definitely interesting. I bought this off Facebook, paid I think the £25 for it, and I wanted something a bit different. Although the engine's like a standard Briggs engine, I wanted to try and get something a bit different on the channel to have a look at, and I saw this, and they must have thought I was mad when I agreed to buy it off them, but if nothing else, it's got a good Briggs engine on it. So drop a bit of fuel in there. I always put about half a tank in there at least, just to give this chance of starting. Put that back on there. And I'll put this on here. And because they've actually got this brake pulled across here, and obviously I've taken the brake off, the kill switch should be disengaged. I don't think there's any wires to it. I'm going to prime it, see if there's any fuel goes through yet. Looking down from the top I can see this fuel going through here. So I guess all I can try and do now is start it. My only problem really is if it does start, I don't know if I'm going to be able to stop it, so let's try it anyway. I presume you put your foot on here, do you? It might be on here to start it up, is that what you're supposed to do? I'll put it on here for now. Right. Woo! Oh, it's exciting, isn't it? going to go. I'm sure this is going to start. He says. I'm sure this will fire. If I can get enough momentum on that, I'm sure this is going to run. Ready? What's happening is this part here is killing the spark plug. If I can keep it out of the way, this time it should run. Ready? Oh, it still keeps coming off there. Let's just get that off there. Really. There we go. This is it, promise. Thing is, I don't want it to take off. You know what I mean? If you don't see me again, it's because I flew off into the sky with this Flymo hover mower. I'm not sure how to stop it though. Anyway, let's have a go. It's great, I love it. This is it. So much fun. There we go. How about that? It runs, it starts and runs fine. That's amazing, isn't it? Once it settled down, ran great. So I guess what I could do with this is obviously service it up, but I've done that on loads of videos. I'm going to clean it up, I'm going to do the blade and stuff, but I don't think that this will clean up too badly. I think if I can get this cleaned up and looking, well, not new, but better, which shouldn't take too much doing, this should sell for quite a bit of money. I reckon I'll get 50-60 quid for this and double my money. But this is concerning me, this wire, and I'm guessing this should probably run to the kill switch. It's rather kind of defeated it all. I want to try and do something with this, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, because when I picked it up, well, it was on my front grasp, but when I got it I noticed this switch had snapped, so maybe we'll just take a look inside this switch. We'll take this recoil cover off here as well, this off, and we'll have a look at exactly what they've done to get this running without this actual wire connecting to it. So we'll take this off now, we'll have a quick look under here and see what we've got. Right, let's quickly take this cover off here and see what we've got. And I start wondering with this, I think to myself, well, did this used to be an electric mower and someone's put a petrol engine on top of it, or have they changed the engine, or what was it? Any guesses, leave me in the comments, because that wire there's confusing me a little bit. I won't be surprised if someone had kind of managed to bolt a petrol engine on what used to be an electric lawnmower deck. So let's get this off here. Let's have a look, see exactly what we've got. Right, so to do this I need to take this cover off here. Sometimes these mowers have this cover on for covering over the kill switch, and sometimes they don't, and this one has. And to take this off under here, it doesn't appear to have done much good from what I can see so far. Look at all that there. And the kill switch is permanently pulled over, you see. It's really not in use because they've disengaged, they pulled the brake out of the way using this metal clip underneath here, which means it's disengaged, so it'll start all the time but it won't stop, and that's why they've fitted that little mechanism on the front for killing the spark, which actually, you know, kind of works. So, a bit odd. Leave me a comment in the comment section what you think they've done with this, or whether you think it used to have like an electric motor on or whatever. Let's read this sticker on the back. Blade continues to rotate after switched off. Carefully read the sheet. Oh yeah, disconnect the spark plug lead before cleaning. So it must have had a petrol engine on, yeah. Adjusting the blade. Do not allow children to use the mower. Right, fine, fair enough. So it must have had a petrol engine on. And maybe this switch used to work, but I can't see how you could put the switch on and not have a cable that activates this brake. So all a bit of a mystery to me, but it starts and runs. Probably wants a little bit of a service up and a clean, and I reckon we'll get some profit. So whoever's had this before, it kind of makes sense. So this kind of slides down here. When it touches the spark plug, it drops on its own and touches the spark plug. So somehow they managed to get it on the right angle. And I think what they've been doing with this spring is they've been going like this with it, hooking it over the top, kind of wrapping it around there while they've used the mower. Look at that, that keeps it out of the way. When you want to take it off without burning your hand on exhaust, you've got to unhook this, and then just to kill it, you just drop it back down. So that works. That kind of works, doesn't it? All a bit odd, but it works. And they've just bolted that in behind this actual head bolt here. So that works. And I'll show you this thing they've done on the back of it as well. It's all a bit of a mess, but it's not really that bad. And to be honest, it ran pretty even, didn't it? So, yeah, a bit unsure what to do with this one. Give it a bit of a clean up, but might give this a bit of a clean up. And see how it runs again, sharpen the blade. And this could be a quick profit, this. These are ideal, by the way. These mowers are ideal for people who kind of want to cut the grass and they're on a hill, or like a little embankment that kind of slopes down, because you can just hold it and kind of go across with it, and you're not trying to push it up and down the hills. The idea is obviously it hovers, it lifts itself up when the blade is spinning, and a lot of people like these for that. So I might get a bit of money for this. I might get 60-70 quid for it, which is pretty good. And I want to fire it up again and just see how well it ran again, to be honest with you. But before that, I want to show you the back and what they've done here to defeat the kill switch. And the reason they've had to do this is because they haven't got a cable here attached to this part here to pull it out of the way. They've kind of very cleverly, if I'm honest, although it's a bit of a mess, just hooked that on there and somehow managed to pull it and bend it far enough to keep this brake off this flywheel, look, so it always spins. Let's just move that. And defeat the kill switch, because when that's not connected, you've always got spark. So it kind of works. The whole process kind of works, really, doesn't it? And as I kind of look at this, and obviously it's quite old, I don't know what that sticker's going to say under there, I can start wondering, like, I wonder what this would clean up like. So let's have a look at that. I'm going to clean a little bit of it off the front here. I'm just going to clean a little bit of this off the front and see what it looks like. Alright, I think I've worked this out. This little spring, there was another little spring behind here, and it goes through this hole here, but it only just goes through. But it moves down here. When you move it up, if it stays in this little hole, it does actually stay out of the way. So someone's obviously just put that one on as an extra, and this wants to go ideally, it wants a bigger spring on. Wants bending round or something doing with it so it doesn't come out, but ideally it does work. See how it just pops out there, so we'll have to do something with that. But I've taken that other awful spring off there. I just want to know what it looks like kind of when you clean it up a little bit. I'm not going to go mad with it, but is it really, like, is it going to clean up at all, or what's it going to look like? Alright, stickers, I want to keep as much of the sticker as I can, you see. Look, it's not too bad, is it? Look. Imagine this being your pride and joy one day. Like, you know, 30 years ago when you bought it. But it's going to come up alright, look. It's just filthy, isn't it? It's amazing what it can sell with a little bit of a clean up and just make it sparkle. But even so it's, you know, bad looking as this, look. I can see here it's starting to clean up. I'm going to spend 5 minutes cleaning it up and then we'll see what it looks like. Right, so this isn't going to win any awards and I haven't finished really cleaning it yet. But it's definitely looking better than it was. That's definitely worth another tenner, isn't it? I think so. I'll pay another £10 for that one. Don't look too bad, at least it looks kind of orange again. So I'm going to clean off the rest of this with a pressure washer. I'm going to cover this hole over here and I'm going to blast all this dirt out, get it all clean, and at least I can put it on my bench in the garage and we can give this engine a service. One thing I've got to be careful with on this as well is I don't want to take the sticker off with a pressure washer, so I'll be a little bit careful. I just want to get the main sort of gunk off the engine, so when I want to strip it down I'm not working in loads of dirt. Typical British bank holiday Monday tradition. It's about to start, well it is, it's just started raining and it's going to rain for the rest of the day. So what I wanted to show you, I was going to take this blade off here, but somebody has previously stated has been here before me in more cases than one, and this bolt here is really rounded off. And the other issue I've got with this as well is, of course, is that the brake isn't on here, so it doesn't hold the flywheel, so if you try and undo it the whole thing spins. So currently I'm having to think about what to do with this, but what I might do, this might break you out as a viewer, I might take this off and just keep the engine, or even swap it for the one that's running on my own mower as a spare. Mine ain't running particularly well at the minute, so I might end up just stripping this down for spares. But the other problem I've got, again, if I want to do that, is the fact that to get the engine off I have to get the blade off, because I can't lift this engine off this deck until I've got the blade off, so it's become a bit of a problem for me. So while I'm having to think about this, let's just quickly have a look at this switch. I'm going to set this switch off. I've got a bit of a play about with this, it's starting to pour down as well. Let's see if we can get this off here. Unbelievable, isn't it? Bank holiday Monday and it starts to rain. What are the chances, eh? Right, I'll have to get this in the garage. It's started to pour down. Right, so that's what's under the switch. If anyone who's got one of these wants to know what's in here, basically I can move the switch over just about, and obviously there's supposed to be some sort of lever on the top, so I can get it to do what it's supposed to do, but obviously with the cover on it's not going to function, and even with a screwdriver in now I'm really having to force it. So it looks like what they've done is just kind of turn the switch off, leave it off, disconnect it. So I think what I'm going to have to do with this is just actually take this switch off, and if I'm honest, I think what I'm probably going to end up doing with this engine is stripping the spares off it and skipping the rest of it. So in this video I don't know what's going to come up. I could fix this and I could strip it down for spares, I'm really not quite sure just at the minute. Right, this is going to make me incredibly unpopular, but what I've decided to do with this is strip it down for spares. The reason is as well, a bit of a cop out, but it's pouring down outside. If it was a nice day I could tip this over, I could spend some nice time outside, probably get this blade off at some point, and maybe get this up and running, but I really don't think it's going to be worth a lot more than I paid for it. I've just looked back, I paid £30 for this, more than I wanted to pay, but I don't have a massive selection of Briggs spares at the minute. I've got a few things in tubs. I'm going to show you all the things I'll keep on this. I just don't want to spend my bank holiday bent down trying to get the blade off, only to sell this for what I paid for it or a little bit more. This is worth far more to me than spares, so I'm sorry if that disappoints some of you, but the rain is bouncing off the garage roof. I'm going to put this on the bench and I'm going to strip all the main bits off this. I'm going to show you all the bits to keep, and we'll go through kind of a price you might pay if you wanted to buy these spares separately. So yeah, I feel like a bit of a failure. I'm sorry if that disappoints you, but the reason I ain't going to keep the whole engine, everyone must be thinking, why don't you just take the engine off, you're going to waste a whole engine. The reason is I don't often do full engine swaps, and if I look at the parts I'm going to get off this, and I'll give you a quick rundown of this. I'm going to get the air filter and the air filter box. We're going to get the full recoil, pull cord handle, kill switch rope, and the bits off I'm going to get off here, going to get the exhaust guard off, the exhaust bolts. I'm going to take off the flywheel. I'm going to get the flywheel and the flywheel key, the kill switch wire. I'm going to get the ignition coil wire, the governor vane, linkages and springs off the carb, air breather off the carb, petrol tank, primer bulb, the petrol cap itself, the control arm that runs along the front of here, engine oil dipstick tube, maybe a few other little bits like this spacer as well. So I'm going to get loads of spares, and the advantage of this for me is I can keep these for when I get a mower that needs these parts. Even the little governor springs are about £6 I think, or probably about £8 last time I looked. So you price all that up to buy it separately, £30 really isn't that bad for an engine full of spares like this, and there's nothing missing on it. Another good thing about the carb is I know it starts and runs, so I've got that as well. So I'm going to put this on the bench. I'm going to spend a little bit of time stripping all the parts off this, and I'll show you all the bits I keep at the end. So I've just extracted all the old fuel out. I used my old extractor for that, but I've got my new one for this, so I'm just going to pump all this old oil out of here. I'll get this out. I'm going to have to transport this, of course, take it to the tip, so I want to get all this out, and I should have really done it after I've been running it, so I'm going to leave that for a few minutes. It's quite powerful this. Once it gets going it should drag all that out, and I've not got any fluids in the mower. The tank's now empty, and hopefully in a second this engine oil will all be out of here as well. Okay, so I've got all the fluids out of this. I've just extracted all the oil, all the fuel, so I can take that to the tip with me. Let's make a start. And this doesn't take very long really, especially if you've got like an impact tool like this. So I'm going to take this carb and tank off first. And I'm not pleased with myself as I'm doing this. I'm thinking, you know, I wish I'd kind of fix this, but I've made my decision and this is it. So I'll live with it. And it's my bank holiday, and I don't want to spend it doubled over trying to get a blade off. So I'm going to cut my losses and take these parts off here. We'll take that off and unhook that. That's a full carbon tank I've got as a spare. Right, the next thing I'm going to try and do is get this actual flywheel off, because I want the flywheel, I want the cup, the starter cup on the top, and I want the keyway out as well. So I've got another keyway to use, but I don't know how successful I'll be with this, because this spins pretty easy. I ain't got the blade, the brake, sorry, holding this down. So yeah, luckily this has got the speed to do it. So I've got this nut as well, got this cup. I'm going to get a big rubber mallet from behind me. I'm going to get this off from underneath here. I've got that off. That was a bit of a rough and ready version, wasn't it? We've got it off. Rubber mallet as well. Don't use a metal one, so you'll just bend everything. Don't often need one of those, but one thing I do want is I want this little keyway out of here, because I know it must be in good condition because there was no kickback and this thing ran alright. So I've got a proper Briggs & Stratton keyway there, so that's going in my collection. I've got that off. I've got that part off there as well. We'll take this pipe off here, this breather pipe. You just never know what you might need, do you? So I think I hit that with a rubber mallet. Someone's probably already typing in comment section. So this one might not be particularly good. I think I actually smacked it at one point. So if you've already typed that in the comment section, you were pretty quick. There's a prize for you there. Yeah, this ain't great, but I'll keep it. That's off. It's another part to keep. I'm going to get a 1/4 inch socket here. Put that on there, and I'll put this one on this side. I'm going to take this ignition coil off. Like this, look, this should all come out now. Try and keep as much of it together as I can, and what I generally do is tape stuff. There's a little switch under here. I'm going to pull the switch off underneath here, these 2 wires on that one. Pull that off there, and I might just leave that on there for a second, leave all this connected, but I want to keep these governor springs in good order, so I'm going to unhook this linkage from here, and I'm going to keep this hopefully something like one piece. So I've got all the screws in the right place, I've got the air vane in the right place, I've got an ignition there, a full ignition with the governor vane as well, so I'm going to have that off. I want to keep these, I don't want to take these governor springs here, I don't want to take these off. because I don't want to actually damage the end of these parts here particularly. These you can stretch these. I think I'll have a quick play about, but I'd rather leave them on. I'm probably just going to unbolt the control arm, leave it all together on this occasion, but I am going to take off this wire here. See, there's a kill switch to the front of here as well, one on the back. So I've got some good wires here. I'm going to get this one off here, take that one off. If I can bend this tab down here, I should be able to get this wire out. Should be able to just pull that around the corner a little bit. Let's just snip that off there. I'm not going to play about, it's twice as long as it's ever going to need to be anyway. So that's another spare for me. So the kill switch wire, I'm going to keep that as well. Never know when you might need that. So that's all off. So it doesn't really take long to do much of this. I'm going to get, the next one I'm going to get, I think he's going to get 13mm on the front of this here. Let's just grab that. I'm going to take this control arm off the front here. Like this. I keep all these bolts as well, by the way. There's always one that don't want to go in there. That's unlucky. Let's try and get this one off under here. Yeah, these are really tight. Never got that before, so it might be a case of abandoning that. I'm going to faff about. I'm just going to unhook these little linkages here and do my best not to damage the springs. Like that there, I've got one off. I really don't want to damage the edge of the spring, so I might try and cut this part here. I'm going to cut that, and I'm going to take the springs off that way, like that. I've got both the springs in. I'm not to fiddle about with the end of these springs. I've got a nice loop on the end of both these springs. I'm definitely going to keep those a genuine pair of Briggs governor springs, so I'm going to have those. I'm going to take this inlet off here, this inlet manifold off here. I'll grab this, definitely want this, and the actual gasket underneath, so we'll take that off. Grab that. I'll take that there. We'll take this off here. Don't want to waste any of these parts, you know, they're really expensive to buy. You know, if you want a little part like a gasket for one of these or just an inlet manifold, and you go on eBay, you're looking at £6, £7, £8, probably a tenner, which is just ridiculous. Just keep them. So I've got that. I've got this, I think this is the one that looks like ET in it. Look, like that. I'll have that off there. So that's not going to make it, unfortunately. That ain't going to make it. That's in a million bits, so I've lost the gasket off there. Don't need the control arm. I'm not going to bother with a head gasket. I've got a spare one of those. So kill switches, I've got a few of those. I don't particularly need that, but you might not have one. And if you were going to start repairing these for profit, this would be ideal to start with, because you could have a go at getting it running and play about with it, and hopefully learn a few bits how to strip things off it, and then you could just keep the spares, and the next one you got, you'd be in a great position, wouldn't you, because you'd be able to have a collection of spares where you could actually use them for repairing your next mower. You kind of already have a spare stock. I'm going to take this off here, and there's a bolt that goes in the front of here on the exhaust guard, and that's great. You really want to keep hold of these. I always find these hard to find in my box. There's a little bolt here. These are a strange size, I'm not sure what size they are, but they've got this little shroud around it, and that holds the exhaust guard on, so I'm going to keep that in a special place. Exhaust guard cover. I need to get an older screwdriver, not one of the new ones. I need to get a normal hammer. Just tap these little bits out of the way here. I should use something better than this really, shouldn't I? But it's only soft. I just want them out of the way so I can get the exhaust off. I'm not going to bin an exhaust. So we'll get that there. And we'll get a socket on here. Let's see what size we're on. Should know these sizes really by now, shouldn't I? You know, that'll do. That's an 11mm for reference. Take that off. Make sure it's cold, by the way, before you grab hold of it. There we go, complete exhaust. I'll have that out of there. Not going to take the valves out or anything like that. I'm not going to take that off. But I've got myself a load of parts. I'm going to leave this as is. I'm not going to take this head off here because I can't get the bolts out. I'm not going to faff about for too long doing that. I'll have another quick go now, and if it don't come off, then that's the end of it. So let's just grab that. I'll probably take these bottom ones out. I'm not going to keep the plug either. Don't want the plug. See, all these ones will probably come off. I'm not going to take them right out in case I can't get the top ones off. I have done though. Let's just get rid of that. Just get this out of the way a little bit. One to go. Not yet. So we've got that off. I'm going to keep all those bolts. I'm just going to push this on my bench because there might be a bit of oil that wants to fall out of here. So I can back all these right out now. And the reason I'm doing this is if the head gasket's in one piece, although it's going to be old, I might just be able to save it. And if I get one with a completely blown head gasket, at least I've got something there. So I've got that. Let's have a look at this. And let's see if I can get this actual head gasket off here. And this is a bit tight really, but sometimes if you can just get it off, it's, you know, worth keeping, isn't it? Obviously it's been used, but if there's no splits in it, if you're careful enough with it, you might get it off. And you've another £3 or £4 saved next time you need to buy one. Yeah, not brilliant, but it's not bad. Probably never get around to using it, but I'm going to keep it. I'll just throw it in my box for a rainy day. I think that's about it. 5-minute job, strip all this down. I'm going to leave the rest of it as is. Don't really need to take anything out of here. No one's ever going to take this little trapdoor off here, although I will take it off because it's got the 1/4-inch bolts in that come in quite handy. So for the sake of that, I will take off that because I want to keep these little bolts. No point throwing these little parts out. It's a 2-second job to take it off. I'll take that off there. I'll have that out of there. Keep the little, see all these little ones in here that I was keeping now, I'm going to have that. I'm going to keep that off there, that little plastic bit. That holds the kill switch wire out of the way, so we'll have that. We'll have this one off here as well. And then this, unfortunately, and I know I'm going to get a lot of negative comments, the rest of this is going to go to the skip. And I'm going to show you what spares I've got left. I'm not going to take anything else off this. I'm probably going to leave that door on there. I could just pick it off, but I don't want the oil to run out when I put it in the car. So that's it. I'm not going to take anything else off it. Basically stripped every accessory off it I can get. I'm going to tidy up a little bit and I'll show you the parts I've got. Right, so let's have a look at our collection. It's still breaking my heart, is this a little bit? It's my own fault, but I've got a full recoil. I've got petrol tank, petrol cap, carb, primer bulb, all the washers, diaphragm and gasket, complete and working, and that will come in very useful, believe me. I've got an exhaust bolts, exhaust guard, I've got a set of governor springs, inlet, the screws, the breather pipe there, kill switch cover, spacer. I've got various bolts, clips. I've got a full ignition coil air vane. The full clip-on wire here, as you know, previous videos they snap. I've got the top off this flywheel, this cup here, starter cup. I've actually got the keyway as well here, and this flywheel, air filter box. I've got some spare kill switch wire, and probably a pretty useless head gasket there, and the actual exhaust. In fact, I want that. That's the exhaust bolt as well. I'm going to keep that in my spare tub. So that's it. They're the bits I've got off it. Bit disappointing, but I could have got this running, sharpened the blade up actually on the mower. And to be honest with you, I don't think I'd have made a lot of money on it, and I didn't want to spend all day doing it. So it's a decision I've made. I'm not entirely happy with myself for doing it, but I've got loads of spares. This is going to go to the tip, the rest of this mower. And I'm going to keep this for a future video, and although it's cost me money now, I know in the future all these little parts will come back to save me money, just buying these things separately, especially a tank and carb and things like that. So, bit disappointed, but made my decision. I'm going to keep these spares and I'm going to move on. So just a quick note, in the last video I actually put a little snippet in after I'd actually filmed the video, so saying I'd lost the video footage from my last video I'd filmed, and a few people have donated a £5 or £1 here and there. I think up to about £12–13 now to recover those clips. Cost me about £57, so thanks to everybody who went down to the description and clicked on that PayPal link and left me £1. I really appreciate that. You all know who you are, so that little contribution there has really helped me as well. So that's it for this video. Not often I'm beaten, but on this occasion I've decided, with it raining outside, that was my decision. Let me know what you think in the comments section. Take a look at these cards for some more in-depth videos on how to repair these lawnmowers for profit. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again hopefully when it's sunny in the next one.